Mae Govannen, my Elven Fae and other kin family, and going to go ahead and try to make it a short video today in our series of Elven Sayings. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about something near and dear to my heart, as I usually do. And this is about another way to help find ourselves. Why is it that throughout human history, whether you're looking from a religious point of view or a spiritual point of view, new age or old age, one of the most common themes that we find within all of human or elven or fae or otherkin history is the topic of meditation. Whether it's meditating, whether it's praying, there is always this truth that seems to follow us throughout time about quieting ourselves, finding that quiet space within. So today's Elven saying is, only within silence can we hear or find the chaos. Only within silence can we hear the chaos. So to be quiet is to be able to hear it. So what do I mean by that? All right, very simply, most people run around today with an incredible number of voices screaming in their head. It comes from social media, it comes from the news, it comes from friends and family, it comes from coworkers, it comes practically from the environment itself, that we have all this noise and chaos that's going in our heads. The problem is that we have lived with this for so long that it has become the new normal, where to us it doesn't seem chaotic. That's just life. That we have all these things pulling at us, but we don't even recognize it as pulling at us anymore. We don't think that there's anything abnormal about this type of life, and it's incredibly abnormal. And you will never find out who you are until you go within, until you look within that silence. I love something Einstein said quite some time ago. He said, "I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in the silence, and the truth comes to me. I think 99 times, can't come up with a thing, but if I get quiet and I swim within the silence of that solitude, the truth comes to me." That is a theme that has run throughout human history, that we never or so rarely discover a deep truth while being active and noisy and in the chaos. We go within, we go quiet. It's a habit of mine and my wife. We try to meditate every day. We try to get quiet for a little while, even though our lives are very, very blessed. We need that quiet time where we just stop thinking. And we don't sit there and we think about, and we think about solitude and this and no. We attempt, without attempting, to think of nothing. And in that stillness, we can find out who we are. Zen, that is, I'm a student of Zen, and you can be Christian or Buddhist or Muslim. It's a practice, a way of thinking. It's not a religion. It's hardly a philosophy, but a way of practicing, of sitting, of being quiet. And you can be of any religious or philosophical belief and still be a student of the way of Zen. And it teaches you to be calm, to find that still, it's called in a lot of old religions, it's called the still small voice. That after a time you get to where, if you don't try to learn about silence, you begin to lose track of your voice, and all you hear are all the other voices. And after a time, and this is a serious psychological issue that is now rampant within today's cultures, is you begin to think that their voices are yours. You no longer recognize yours anymore, and all you can hear are all the other voices. And after a while, it's the old cliche, if you're told a lie long enough, you begin to believe it's the truth. Well, if you can't listen to your own voice, after a while you begin to believe that everyone else's is yours. And that allows them to take your freedom of who you are and allows them to keep you from finding out who your true nature is, who you truly are. You know, it's to truly allow that elven child or fae or otherkin, whatever name you want to go by, to truly allow that child to awaken within. You first have to let go of the human ego. You have to be willing to let it go and realize that you're not what everyone else is telling you. And why is it that that seems to be such a hard thing to do? Why is it that so many people don't want to get quiet? They don't want to go into that solitude. And I've seen this with my patients for decades. Sometimes I will talk to them about meditation or getting quiet, especially for those that are experiencing severe anxiety or depression. I tell them that to try to find the things that give you peace and to allow you to decompress, to nurture yourself. In some religions, they say it's praying. Like I said, in some spiritual areas, it's called meditation. The end result is the same. Separating yourself, at least for just a few minutes, away from the media and social media and friends and family and work, and just being quiet. There's a difference between loneliness and alone time, just quiet solitude. It's important that you do that every day. Again, one of the Zen phrases, I mentioned this before in another video, a Zen monk was approached by a student and was asked, how often should I meditate? And he said, well, the master said to the student, at least 20 minutes a day. And the student went, I'm so busy. So the Zen master said, then 1 hour a day. All right, I love that. I think it's quite true. The busier we are, the more we actually need that quiet time. All right, so by going within, being quiet, whether it be through meditation, through yoga, through the quiet walks, you can be with someone, just maybe don't talk. Just be quiet for a short time. People so often, especially in Western civilization, are afraid of the silence. My wife and I, when we were getting ready to move up to our land and get ready to do that for a short time, we bought an RV, and I've mentioned this before. We bought an RV and we lived in it so that we could basically squirrel away all our resources, save them up for a couple of years, because we knew when we moved to the land it was going to be it was going to cost a lot of money to build the solar, because there was no infrastructure, so we had to put in water, solar, and everything. So we lived in an RV park for a while. It was a great experience. And there was a lady that lived in a RV just few down from us. And it was interesting to watch her psychologically, because every few months she would cause her husband to completely tear up their garden and move to another spot, and move to another spot, and move to another spot. In other words, she could never find contentment. She could never find joy wherever she was at. And a really big clue occurred one time when there was this, what was considered just an amazing spot in the whole park, and people were on a waiting list. They really wanted that spot. And it was off in a corner, secluded, with just the forest behind them. And of course there were still RVs nearby, but it was quiet and secluded, and you could see the little animals moving by. And she got it. She demanded that she get that spot, and the park gave it to her. She was over there hardly a week and demanded that her husband move her again. And the reason being, it was too quiet. She couldn't take the solitude. She couldn't take the quietness. She needed noise. One of the biggest reasons for that is because so many times, so many of us are afraid to hear that true little voice within, to hear that voice within going, oh, okay, I really don't want to face that fact about me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to face who I truly am. Because if I do, I have to take responsibility for my actions. I have to take responsibility for wanting to improve myself, and they're afraid to hear it. Or they're afraid because it's going to show that I'm different than everyone else. And most people today just want to conform so that they kind of hide in the bunch, so that they don't get noticed. They don't want to be noticed. They just want to live a life of mediocrity. They don't want to grow during their life. I just finished a book I've read many, many times before, The Sword of Shannara. Excellent series of books. I really do enjoy it. And it's interesting in there, I'm sorry I'm giving, so you might want to fast forward if this is giving away part of it, but in there they talk about the Sword of Shannara. And that with this sword they could battle the great warlock lord, and only this sword could kill him. And we don't learn until almost the end of the book. So again, I'm giving something away. If you don't want this, then you might want to fast forward. It was thought for hundreds and hundreds of years that this sword was a great battle sword, and there was some magic within it that would slice through the warlock lord that nothing else on earth could kill and would wipe him out. And there was a great magic within it, but what the magic actually was that whoever touched the sword would be forced to face who they truly were, and to have to face what you have done in the past. And so Shea Omsford, who was the hero, a half-elf, he was the only one who could wield the sword, and when he grabbed it, even he had to face the shock of, and it took him within seconds throughout his life, and he had to face all the things that he had done, and he had to come to terms with them and accept that that was the darker side of me, and I have to accept that I did that and I can grow from that. And he was able to do it. And then he faced the warlock lord, and the warlock lord was extremely afraid of the sword. He knew what it could do, because he had done horrendous, horrible things for hundreds and hundreds of years. And Shea was able to swipe the sword, and it touched the warlock lord. And the warlock lord was forced to face who he truly was and what he had done to the world. And it killed him. Because he could not face that. He could not get quiet and face who he truly was. And yet, if we can do that, we will find that still small voice. We will recognize that all those other voices were clamoring for us, the chaos, and that it wasn't us. And then we can finally realize who we are and find the freedom of who we are, and let that child within finally wake up and be free. So I had a whole lot more that I could probably have talked about, but this is one of the key things that if you are someone who is dealing with anxiety or depression, it's important to find that quiet time at least every day. And it's okay what you see. It's okay what you experienced or what you did in the past, as long as we can face it and grow from it, and then discover that wonderful, rare, precious gem that you are not like everyone else. And it's okay that you are so precious and unique. There never has been and never will be anyone again created just like you in this universe. And how precious a gift is that? All right, so let's see if there's anything else I wanted to go through with this. Okay, so I just wanted to make this, I tried to make it a short one. I got a couple of quickie announcements that I want to make, and then we're going to have a short story at the end of this by that wonderful YouTube channel, Dare to Do Motivation. And so we're going to do that here in just a minute, but I wanted to make a couple of quick announcements of shows coming up in the very near future within the next couple of weeks or so. All right, we just did, about 2 weeks ago, we did the women's health, and I got some very good responses, and I appreciate everybody watching and responding to it, and I hope that it truly is able to help you find the health you so richly deserve. So what's coming up next is we're going to be doing men's health. So we're going to be doing an episode on issues that men face in today's world, and how, from an Elven perspective, medical, but an Elven perspective, how you can deal with these things and maybe find that healing within yourself. After that, we're going to be doing the children's video, and so we'll be doing on children's health. We'll be covering that one. There'll be obviously a lot more Elven Sayings. I've got a wonderful opportunity with our Elven sister Eriana out of Estonia. We're going to be doing a few videos together talking about the Valar from the Tolkien's point of view, the powers of the world, the angels, so to speak. We're going to be doing a few videos on them for those that would like to learn a little bit more about the Silmarillion and the Tolkien canon on the powers that helped create this world. All right, and I got a wonderful suggestion in my last video from a wonderful Elven sister, and she asked if I would do a video on overweight and obesity, how to cope with that and how to deal with that from an Elven perspective, how we can heal from that. And we can. I've been a doctor, as I said, for over 23 years. I have worked with a lot of overweight patients and helped them find the weight loss that they needed in order to, again, bring that child back out that had been hidden for so long. So we're going to actually do that. Thank you again, my dear Elven sister, for bringing that suggestion up. We'll be doing that here very, very soon as well. Okay, I have a very, very important video coming up also, and the basic theme is this the end of the reign of man and the reawakening of the elves? Or is it simply the end of the reign of man? It's up to us, and we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the Elven philosophy of oneness. So we're going to talk about that one also. We got a lot of neat videos coming up here very soon. So, and then a fun one, we're going to be doing very soon how to play Elven music. And I have a multitude of instruments I have here, and I'm going to bring them out and introduce you to them and maybe help teach you a little bit or inspire you about picking up an instrument and learning to play some Elven music. So we're going to have a how-to tips in your daily life of how to live an Elven life. So going to be with music. I hope you enjoy that. Okay, and one happy note also I wanted to make real quickly for you. Our dream is finally coming true. My wife, Famous, and I have wanted to do this for many years, and because of the blessings that we've gotten from cryptocurrency, we've been able to raise the funds, and we're going to be starting our free medical care in Guatemala a lot sooner than we thought. So we're trying to get ready to head out there around January and start doing free medical care, doing like week-long trips at a time. I'll be doing it several times a year until we finally one day do set up a full clinic. And we are going to be doing a volunteer project as well, where we will be bringing volunteers with us. So for those of you who would like to volunteer and go to Guatemala and Africa and Nepal and India, but Guatemala first, I'm putting out the word that if you would like to be a volunteer and work alongside myself and other doctors and try to help the people who don't have access to health care, we are putting the invitation out to you to consider working with us. When we do start bringing the volunteers, we will be paying all airfare and food and lodging. That's how blessed we've been with crypto. So we want to offer that, bring that Elven love to other countries. So putting the word out for those that would like to do it. And I'll put a link in the description for the website in case you want to go take a look at it. Okay, other than that, I think that's it. We're going to go ahead and take a moment out. Let's play this short little video. It's a wonderful video about the value of your life. And then we'll be right back. I hope you enjoy it.
One day a son goes to his father and says, "Father, what is the value of my life?" And the father gives him the stone and says, "Son, if you want to know the value of your life, take this stone and go to the market. And if anyone asks the price, don't say a word and raise up 2 fingers." So the boy does as his father says and goes to the market. He wanders around, and suddenly an old woman approaches him and says, "How much is this stone?" The boy doesn't say a word, just raises up 2 fingers. And the woman says, $2? I'll take it. The son is surprised and runs back to his father. He says, "Father, there was an old woman at the market. She wanted to give me $2 for the stone." And the father says, "Son, the next place I want you to go is to the museum. And if anyone asks the price, don't say a word and raise up 2 fingers." So the son takes the stone and goes to the museum. After about 20 minutes, there is a middle-aged man in a suit who approaches the boy. He says, Sir, how much is this stone? The boy doesn't say a word and raises up 2 fingers. And the man says, $200? I'll take it. The boy, surprised, and runs home to his father. Father, a man in the museum wanted to buy the stone for $200. Okay, son. The last place I want you to take the stone is a precious stone store. Walk inside with the stone, and if anyone asks the price, don't say a word, just raise up 2 fingers. So the son runs off into the precious stone store. After finding it, he walks inside and there is an old man at the counter. And as the old man sees the stone, he jumps up and screams, "Oh my God, you have the stone I've been looking for my whole life. What do you want for it? How much is it?" The boy doesn't say a word and raises up 2 fingers. And the old man says, $200,000? I'll take it. The boy can't believe it. He jumps up and runs to his father. He says, Father, the old man in the precious stone store wanted to give me $200,000 for the stone. You see, son? You understand now the value of your life? Life is all about where you place yourself. You can decide if you want to be a $2 stone or a $200,000 stone. There are some people who love you and for whom you are everything. And some people will just use you as a commodity, and for them you will be worth nothing. So it is upon you, my son, to decide the value of your life.
All right. I hope that was helpful to you and maybe it inspired you to kind of change your perspective on how you view yourself versus the way others want you to perceive yourself. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead. I made this over long, so I'm going to go ahead and get going, and we'll get prepared on the other videos we want to do. It's always a blessing to do this with all of you, and thank you, everyone, for such wonderful responses that I get. So, until we meet again, thank you all for watching the videos and giving me your comments and feedback. And again, until we are back together again, one day, may you all be blessed by the elves. My name is Dr. Erendil Spendalelis, and I am the Elven Scholar. Namarie.